So today we're doing lesson 4, and that is called slope-intercept form. So it's just an equation written in a certain form. So let's get started here. Recap, ways to find slope. So if we're given a graph, I like to draw a triangle, rise over run. Or sometimes it's fall, but it's always over run. On a chart, we find the constant rate of change, or the crocodile bumps. Between 2 points, that's that m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that little formula. All right, this is something fun you can kind of think about by yourself. So practice graphing. So we're going to need a straight edge here. We're going to end up drawing a line if it falls into a line formation here. It says placing ordered pairs turned into lines. So let's graph these points. -4, go left, then down 2. -3, 0, 0, 6, 2, 10. So they all fall on a line. Let's draw our line through those points. Arrows at both ends. Excuse me. The slope, let's see, we come up here is a nice little triangle, or you could do this bigger triangle, or you could even do this one. All of them are going to simplify to the same ratio. 2 over 1 or 2. So naming 3 points, that would just name 3 more points. So we could name this one 2, 2, or -2, 2. This one 1, 4. And then you could pick another point way down here as long as it goes through the intersection, like that one. 1, 8 it looks like. So those are just picking more points on the same line. We have some vocab words here. It says, in a non-proportional linear relationship, which means it might not go through the origin. So that would be not origin. Linear relationship, so still a line. The graph passes through the point 0b, or the y-intercept. The y-intercept of a line is the y-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So it's going to look like that. Why they call it B? No idea. So there's our vocab word. So in the slope-intercept form, we're going to see that right here. It says non-origin line relationships can be written in the form y equals mx plus b. That's called slope-intercept form. In this form, m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So as long as you see an equation in this form, the m will always be the slope and the b will always be the y-intercept. So the y-intercept, aka b, is always where the line crosses the y-axis. I like to say that's where the graph starts when we start graphing them. M is always the slope. On a graph, we can use the rise over run to graph a line. This is a very light one, but remember that the vertical axis is the y-axis. So on slide 4 here, we're just stating the slope and the y-intercept. So remember, it's the form y equals mx plus b, but in this case 2/3 is replacing the m, and it's supposed to be a positive, but since this is a negative, the b is -4. Letter A, the -5 is replacing the m, and the 3 is replacing the b. M, 1 over 4, rise 1, run 4, and b is -6. In C, you could rewrite this as -1x plus 5. So the m is -1, and the b is 5. Pretty slick, where m, slope, b, y-intercept. Now we're given some different information. So if we're given a graph and we need to write it in slope-intercept form, a couple hints here are to find the slope, then find the y-intercept, that's where it crosses the y-axis, and then replace the m and the b in your values. So write an equation in slope-intercept form for the slope of the graph. So we need to find m, and we need to find b, basically. So m is, we can count our squares. If we draw a triangle right here, this does rise. Rises 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it runs 3. So my slope is 5/3. And my b, where it crosses the y-axis, is at -2. So in the formula the form y equals mx plus b, we have y equals 5/3 x plus negative 2, or that looks better as minus 2. This one is just giving us some words. Write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form with a slope of. So they're telling us slope of, or m equals, and y-intercept, or b equals. So in our form, y equals mx plus b, we replace the m with 3/4, the b with negative 3. So there we go. Slick as a whistle. Slide 6. We're going to practice graphing lines. So we'll need a straight edge for this. My first hint is to always graph the y-intercept, or that's like where the graph starts. Use slope to find at least 2 more points, and use a straight edge to draw the line. So in this equation, y equals negative 2x plus 3, that tells me my slope is negative 2, or negative 2 over 1, if that's going to help. The b is 3. So I find 3 on the y-axis, which would be here. And this says fall 2, run 1. Fall 2, run 1. Fall 2, run 1. If you can't, like the graph isn't big enough to fall 2, this one is, you can also do the opposite. And you could go rise 2, backpedal 1. So you can do the opposite as long as you do the opposite in both. So then we would graph this, having at least 3 dots on our paper, arrows at both ends. There's our line. In this one, here's our equation. Looks like our slope is 1/4, rise 1, run 4, and the y-intercept is negative 3. So we find the y-intercept at negative 3 down here. Rise 1, run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rise 1, run 4. Or I could, from my original point, fall 1, backpedal 4. So that's kind of another option in case we need to come across that. Draw my line, arrows at both ends, because lines go on forever. And there we have graphing lines. What if, for some reason, we have to graph something and it's not in slope-intercept form? Slope-intercept form. Well, all we have to do is manipulate the equation. We're going to solve for y. So if I want to get y by itself, I would subtract 4x from both sides. Now I'm going to write it like between the equal sign and the 12, because I want to put it first so that I have mx. So I bring my 6y down, and then I'm going to, I can't subtract those, but I'm going to put the mx in front, plus 12. Now to get y by itself, I have to divide everything by 6. So that means I need to divide this by 6 and this by 6. So this becomes 1. Negative 4 over 6 becomes negative 2/3 when I simplify. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Now the slope is negative 2/3, and the b is 2. We wouldn't have got that from this equation. Doing the same thing over here, I got to get y by itself, so I'm going to add 3x to both sides. It's 2y equals 3x plus 6. Then I would divide by 2 on both sides, but everything divided by 2. So y equals 3 over 2x plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. So m is 3 over 2, and b is 3. Slope-intercept form, slope-intercept. If you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be. Have a great day.